Welcome to the Jackson Parsons Fancast. I'm Justin, he's Andrew, and we're the Parsites. Welcome to our pilgrimage.
Welcome to the Odd Pod, where we're talking Kitchener Rangers hockey with the Oddballs themselves, Andrew and Justin. Take it away, fellas.
The Parsites? Any notes?
What just happened?
Oh, we're rebranding.
We're rebranding the whole show?
Ken!
Dad?
Dad! We're gonna need some rebranding.
Do you call your dad Ken or do you call him Dad?
No, I call him Dad.
Okay.
Because he's my dad.
Yeah, I know. I just thought it was weird that you yelled Ken.
Well, in a professional setting.
That's true. You have to.
So no, he goes by Dad colloquially.
He goes by Dad. He's known by Dad.
Well known by Dad.
Yeah.
We just talk about Jackson Parsons all the time. I thought we'd just get rid of the odd business. Like, who even cares about the odd? It's all about Jackson Parsons.
It is. It's all about Jackson Parsons all the time this year.
Time. Yeah.
He is a force to be reckoned with.
And finally getting the recognition with OHL Goaltender of the Month.
Oh,
I mean,
I don't know. I'm early predictions. If he keeps it up, I don't know who's going to beat him. I mean, those two guys that just got named to the World Junior camp. You look at I get it.
They're younger.
Parsons is too old to go, and they're younger, and they're great goalies. So I'm not disparaging them. No. But if you look at their stats compared to Jackson Parsons' stats,
no, it's just not. It's not even there.
It's a whole different league of OHL starter.
We'll talk about him a little bit later, but the only person close to Jackson Parsons is the Sioux Greyhounds goaltender who we get to experience this week.
And he just gets a million shots against.
Well, yeah, he just so many more shots.
Yeah,
so yeah, for sure. All right, so we got some games.
Game
that we watched.
recaps.
Yeah,
Parsonites roll out.
Power of the
Parsons.
blocker.
The blocker. Yeah. Okay, I like it. We'll get it. We'll iron it out.
Yeah. I mean, it took us 12 episodes to kind of figure out the odd pod. So
that's true, and we might actually change it this week. We got it figured out, and guess what? Format change.
Yeah, freshen it up. Owen Sound Attack. We saw them Friday night. I was there in person.
You cheated on me.
I did.
And it was the day after my birthday too.
Also true.
So you're in the doghouse, brother.
Oh. So we saw Owen Sound Attack. That was a crazy game.
That was a crazy game.
We ended up winning at 6-5.
I know, that was weird. I was texting you from my couch.
Yep. There were people sitting in the row of the Odd Pod press box.
No.
Which was weird.
Bad. That's all bad.
Yeah, I know.
Someone
the whole
was
point.
sitting in a row. You weren't there with me.
Yeah. It was all my fault, really.
It's all your fault.
This was the Andalorians' 200th game.
It was.
Which, when we got to the third period and we had 3 goals scored against us immediately, I was like, nah, for Ando, can we get together for Ando here?
We have to win this game.
Yeah, we have to win this game.
We must win this game.
Yeah.
This is the way.
This is the way.
We must win this game. I have spoken.
Yeah.
But
we did.
Yeah, we did. Something happened in this game that I've never seen in my life.
Okay.
A referee ended up at center ice during a rush, took out an Owen Sound defender, and sent Misljevic in all alone for his goal in the first period.
Yes.
It was shockingly strange.
It was so weird.
I still don't know what happened there. I would have been so mad if this was the Owen Sound podcast.
Yeah.
I would have been so angry.
This would be the sound off section.
This would be the sound off. Good. This guy with the puns. I also felt like there were some really good players on Owen Sound. Now that we've gotten to know some of them, I got a shout out to DeLille. He is a force to be reckoned with. He was basically just all over the ice.
Yep.
Not that we want to give too much Props to our opponents. He just stood out throughout the whole game. The one thing that I was a little concerned about was that they were going to keep trying wraparounds on Jason Schabel, who's been very good up until this game, where he finally started to look maybe a bit like a rookie.
That's true, except the one wraparound that beat him.
Yes.
That was like
he had two.
He had two
wraparounds that
wraparounds.
beat him.
The first wraparound that beat him was a beautiful wraparound.
It was.
If you're gonna hit a wraparound,
it
went far post, which was.
They also tried a third one and he stopped that.
He did.
So
he also had the unfortunate luck of many breakaways.
Yeah, which seems to be almost part of Rangers hockey.
Yeah, a little bit. We just let the breakaways happen.
Which I don't even think that the Rangers are a bad defensive team. It just seems like there's some weird breakdowns in possession in the offensive zone, and you just can't get back.
Yeah, the puck gets into a weird spot, and they just break out.
I gotta shout out Cameron Reid for the feed of the year so far. That was the apple of the year so far.
You tell me
from his butt.
You tell me if we have to cut this, but the pass from the ass.
The pass from the ass. No, that's exactly. Yeah. The feed from Reid, the pass from the ass.
It was beautiful.
That's the apple of the year so far.
Absolutely.
I don't know a more beautiful one, and it couldn't have come from a more awkward spot.
Yeah. This game, I've never been to a hockey game live where I have both completely lost hope that we can win a game and then completely believed that we can win this game in the same 5-minute span.
Well, I mean, after the first and second period, I was pretty sure they were going to win it.
Yeah.
And then in the third period, they come out completely flat as they've looked since the second game of the year when they were sick.
Yep.
And they go down, and they're all of a sudden it's 5-3 for Owen Sound.
3 goals. In, 6 minutes?
Yeah, it was like, okay, cool. So this is one of those games that got away from you, and you're hold on a second.
Got a little confident there in the first and second.
Hang on a second there, because what did we talk about? What did we say last episode that was streaky? Well, guess what? The streak is on. The power play.
It came back, roaring back.
3 in a row.
It was beautiful.
Good night. Owen Sound, thanks for coming out. Foreshadowing, but Luke Elinas he had the power play winner.
Well, the hand-eye coordination on that goal, unbelievable. The odd was insane.
I believe it.
That was.
I would have liked to have been invited.
Daniel, we have to talk. That was the game against Owen Sound. Then on Sunday, we went and played the Guelph Storm game where we won 3-2. This is what I'm calling the Buddy the Elf game.
The Buddy the Elf game, yeah, because they had those holiday jerseys on.
And Buddy the Elf was reffing this game. Oh, that's okay. Oh, yeah, you can slap people in the face with your stick. That's totally fine.
Well, we actually saw that in another game in the OHL this week, which is a bit of a segue.
Yeah.
Just that we saw an absolutely vicious stick swing. And I don't want to get too much into it because I just don't want to drag the kid who did it, but you can't do that.
No, he lost his temper, and
Yeah, but you can't lose your temper with a weapon.
Yes. Well, yeah, he has a weapon. He's also like very muscular and a hockey player at a semi-professional level.
Yeah. So anyway, we won't get too off topic with that, but that was insane. I'm not gonna. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there was like the egregious headshot on Swick at the beginning of this Guelph game.
Yes.
That didn't get called.
Right.
At all.
Yeah.
And
I mean, how do you get a headshot on a 6'7" guy?
That's a challenge.
That's targeting. That's targeting. It has to be.
It has to be. I was also surprised to see no suspension for that.
In a league that seems to be a little bit suspension happy.
Yeah. But that headshot to Swick did give me my Juice nickname this week.
Oh, really?
Yes. For this game, he was the Spicy Margarita.
The Spicy Margarita. Is that really juice?
No, because this has bite to it because the juice was.
So we're just
livid.
doing beverages now.
There's juice in it.
There is juice in it.
There's lime juice.
Okay, I'll give you that.
He could be the lime juice in a spicy margarita.
I'll give it to you. Hey, we make the rules here.
Yeah.
We discovered a few episodes ago that we make the rules. We make the rules.
Yeah. Somebody told us that we told ourselves that we make the rules.
Braden Gillespie for the Guelph Storm stood on his head early.
Yes.
And it was 2-0 going into the second.
I thought we were going to get goalied. Like, I just thought this was a
felt like
goalie
that.
game.
And then it did turn out to be a goalie game.
Yes.
But it was both of them.
Yes.
So once they went down 2-0, obviously I had to make note that Swick had the schnipe of all schnipes.
It was so beautiful.
It was a beautiful, just a perfect shot.
That was his 50th OHL goal.
Wow. Well, congrats to Swicky there. Oh, Chromiak threw it on net and ended up with an assist. And I thought, man, this team needs to do more of that. And they actually did.
Yeah, they just started throwing them on net.
Yeah,
and
sometimes
that fed into last night's game.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They threw it on net in that game too and got a goal out of it. But yeah, they need to not necessarily try and make a perfect play sometimes and just throw it at the net. And I think that's happening.
Except poor Romano, who threw it at a wide open net. And when Gillespie, I don't.
Save of the year candidate for sure in the OHL.
He was using the force.
Yes, it was perfect. He lifts his. If you didn't see it, he's on his belly. The puck goes behind the net on a redirect that comes out front to Romano, who's literally at the side of the net, has a gaping cage.
The goalie's literally laying on the ground. Like, there's no save.
Gillespie is on his stomach, and he literally reaches up his glove and catches.
And just, it's like a fly ball.
A missile. It is. It's like a fly ball. It was like a liner to the shortstop, but he was on his stomach.
Yeah, it looks like he was practicing his baseball catches. Like, it was just so beautiful save by Gillespie.
And then speaking of beautiful saves, Parsons with the breakaway save on Luchenko, who played a lot of hockey in Philadelphia before coming back to the Storm.
Well, we talked about Luchenko last week being a huge threat, and we neutralized him.
He got out of the box free on a breakaway by himself, and Parsons stood tall because Parsons has had so much breakaway experience. For better or worse. For better or worse.
Yeah. He's going to be so good in the NHL when
yeah. The shootouts.
Yeah, they get to the shootouts and nobody can beat him.
He's a shootout specialist. Shout out to Mike Morrison. Craig McTavish of the Oilers, during the decade of darkness, actually pulled the starting goaltender for the shootout and put Mike Morrison in. Shout out to Mike Morrison. I think he played in the OHL. Yeah, well, you can tell that didn't go very well. So anyway, that was that era of Oilers hockey. And of course, going back to the game against Guelph, OT happens in OT.
Yeah.
Cameron Reid looking like a forward. We said that last episode. Cameron Reid sometimes looks like a forward out there with the way that he can play offense.
The one thing that was interesting about this game was we were down 0-2 going into the third.
Yeah.
In the first period, we had 18 shots. In the second, third, and OT, we had 17 combined shots.
Right, but it was quality over quantity.
Well, they were good shots in the first period. I mean, Gillespie
he stood on his head.
But also, it goes back to your point about throwing things on net. Like, they were throwing some things on net that just needed to get there, and that's where they
that goal that Botno scored off the Chromiak, that was literally just throw it on the net and see what happens.
Yeah.
If there's traffic there, you never know what's going to happen. And Botno continues to play really well.
He does. Yeah. Good name, too. The third game was Tuesday night. That was last night for us, because we'll probably say last night a bunch of times because we're like that.
That's true. We are recording on Wednesday.
And we played the Brntford Bulldogs for the first time this season. We won 6-3.
Oh, yeah.
That was fun. What did you think of that game, Andrew?
Well, I thought that over 10,000 teddy bears being thrown onto the ice was pretty gosh darn cool. Pretty swell.
It was super cool.
It was. I was a bit disappointed that I wasn't at the game.
Yeah.
Because next year I am circling that game and I'm going to that game and I am throwing at least one teddy bear.
Well, you have to think that people were throwing 2 or 3 teddy bears.
Exactly.
That's a lot of teddy bears.
We got to break the record.
Yeah. It was really fun. When it first started happening, I was like, oh, it just happens now. I don't know why I've never seen one of these before.
Oh, no?
They kept talking about it in the broadcast. It's like, who's going to get the goal? And I didn't realize that, they're just waiting to throw them on the ice as soon as the goal is scored. And I'm like, this is like a huge disruption. They were doing interviews.
Yeah.
But it totally did not kill the flow of this game. It was super fun.
And
what a great moment.
It was a great moment. It's a great initiative.
Yeah.
And it was cool to see the boys being boys.
Yeah.
And playing with the teddy bears and doing silly stuff.
Yeah, just being
and
goofs.
hitting Luke Elinas with the teddy bear. Of course, Luke Elinas scored the goal.
Yeah.
And they were just skating by during his interview and smacking him with the teddy bears and stuff. I don't know. It was just a great, like, humanizing, like, they're just boys. They're just boys playing a game, having fun.
They're having a good time.
So I loved it. Sean Fafaro got out on the ice there and had his interview and brought his brand of, fun and humor to it. So
many great questions. Sean Fafaro was all over the place doing tons of interviews with everybody.
Yeah.
So funny.
Yeah.
And just great questions. It was like the levity of that moment was just like so light and lovely. And
yeah, it's more than a game, but it's also just a game.
Yeah.
So it was fun to just see that moment and to support the community and celebrate, teddy bears and Christmas and holidays and whatever.
As a person who's like really only watched the NHL in his life, like this type of like fun and great moment, which has never happened in the NHL. Like,
well, I will say I can remember going to NHL games when they were affordable when I was younger. And they were more fun. They'd give away free pizza if there was a goal scored at a certain time, the same way that the Rangers give away chicken. There were things that took place in NHL arenas that were a bit more geared towards families.
Right.
Now it's very corporate.
Yeah, it feels very corporate.
Yeah.
But back to this game, it felt like the first period was super slow, super tentative.
Oh.
Everybody was so nervous. You could tell that it meant a lot that somebody was going to score this goal, and they all kind of wanted to be that person.
Random side note, I was like, what if nobody scores? And,
I know.
And apparently this happened once at an Oil Kings game in Edmonton, and it went to overtime, and the Oil Kings scored in overtime. Can you imagine the pandemonium? 0-0, 1-0 win. Like, could you imagine the sweating was going on with the promotional team if they lose 1-0?
Yeah. But we didn't have to deal with that.
Didn't have to deal with that because
so many goals were scored.
Yes. The floodgates opened
in so many ways.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Luke Elinas is now Theodore Elinas for the Teddies.
The Teddies.
Old Teddy Elinas. I don't know.
Theodore Elinas is my father.
I'm Teddy Jr. No.
But before that, Parsons had yet another breakaway stop.
Yes.
He did. And I will say, the thing that we haven't talked about that was absolutely hilarious was that Noah Roberts was in the box for a 10-minute misconduct.
Yeah.
During the teddy bear toss. So there's about what, a 15-minute interruption?
Yep.
Maybe conservatively 10 minutes, 10
yeah,
to 15
10 to
minutes.
15 for sure.
And he was already in the box for a couple minutes. And then he had to serve I had to serve the majority of his penalty after the teddy bear toss.
But the best part was he was on the TV. There were kids throwing bears down the tunnel right beside the penalty box. It would look like he was frozen. It looked like the TV froze if you were just looking at him. But there were joyous kids throwing bears by him.
One of which was waving at him, and he just broke eye contact and looked away. And my wife even was just like, she's waving at him. Oh, he didn't wave back.
Everybody else, like I didn't really see anybody from Brntford like celebrating with the Teddies.
No.
But the Rangers were out playing with the Bears, like skating around, waving at people, like interacting with the fans in the crowd, whatever. And the kid just sitting there.
I couldn't imagine going to the intermission after that and what the teammates on Brntford must have said to him. I haven't seen you in a while, buddy. He's just in there forever.
He was in there that was the longest 10 minutes of his life.
And then somebody else got a penalty and they went in there and I was like, he's still in there?
Still there?
Why is he in there still? Like, I was literally like, how long was this penalty? If I had the time to go back and try and figure out in real time how long this kid was in the box for, it was a half hour.
At minimum.
It was a half hour. It was insane. He'll never talk back to an official ever again.
No,
Let's put
absolutely.
it that way.
But it wasn't his penalty. He was serving.
Yeah, see, that's what I thought too, because
Oh,
that's
it
what
was
they
his-
said on the broadcast. But then when I looked in the game notes, they just attributed the penalty to him. So unless they made a mistake and attributed the penalty to him,
I thought it wasn't his penalty.
I thought it was, because that's what they said on the broadcast.
Yeah.
However, in the game notes, it just says Noah Roberts misconduct.
So it was just him.
So if it was him, it's even funnier. If it wasn't him, then you're like, oh, man,
that poor kid.
That poor kid. But if he actually talked back to an official and then had to sit in the box for a half hour,
Best penalty
hilarious.
ever.
Think about what you did. You got grounded, dude.
And then the third period, just like pandemonium.
Went nuts.
So many goals.
Went nuts.
But it was so fun.
It was a really fun period for sure. I know I was a
there
little
was a little
bit
bit
nervous.
of stress. Like I thought they might lose it.
Yeah. I mean, the Rangers scored 2 goals in 53 seconds.
Yeah.
I took my dogs out to use the bathroom Wednesday night, and I thought I was safe because they were going to commercial, and I came back in and 2 goals had been scored.
Yeah.
I was like, I looked at my wife who was sitting on the couch, I was like, what happened? She's like, yeah, they've scored twice. I was like, no, yeah, I got that. I was like, what happened? She's like, I don't know.
And they were great. They were great goals. I bet you watched the highlights, or at least the recap at the end.
I did. I saw I watched the highlights.
The Vermeulen goal was
and
so
the recap.
beautiful.
Yes.
It was like
no, it was Grisgolia.
Yeah.
Grisgolia
got that goal.
The Grizzly Bear on Teddy Bear Night got a beautiful goal.
Beautiful goal. Yeah. So that was it. That's the games. They were fun. It was a good weekend. I mean, we won 3 of 3, which makes things easier to talk about.
Yeah. Well, we didn't talk about the game winner in the last game.
Oh yeah,
because it was scored by
G.R.O.A.T.s. Thank God. And it was that sequence that led to it. So there was so many like beautiful shots that should have went in that they saved. It was like, oh man, can they ever beat this guy?
Yeah.
G.R.O.A.T.s comes trundling off the bench.
The puck is the slowest puck to the blue line I have literally ever seen in my life.
Yes.
And no one's around. G.R.O.A.T.s comes in from the bench, like you were saying.
Oh, I can just keep it on side.
And then just throws a snapshot, and it just, like, right in.
Everybody on Brntford thought that puck was out of the zone. Everybody just, like, they stopped.
Everyone stopped playing.
They just stopped playing.
And G.R.O.A.T.s, he just walks in perfect timing. And again, just throw it on net.
Just throw it on net.
Goes right in.
It was so good. Thank God he's back. First goal of the season.
Yeah.
It was good. Okay, so now we're going to do, you may have noticed that we didn't do 3 stars for any of these games.
We didn't.
We're gonna,
Format change.
So we're probably just going to do 3 stars after weekend games and for the weekend.
Yes.
Because I think that's kind of nice. And maybe if things get really bad, we might do good, bad, and the ugly for like a really rough weekend. But
I don't believe it'll ever happen.
I don't think it's ever going to happen. So
Eternal
3 stars.
Optimism.
Andrew, I 99.9% sure we have the same first star.
That's because you can see my notes.
That's true.
He's reading my notes.
I can see
He's
it.
copying. Teacher, he's copying me.
So who's the first star, Andrew?
It is old Theodore himself, as you've deemed him.
Teddy.
Luke Elinas.
Yeah.
Who just went off and was a driving force in the games all weekend.
Hugely impactful all weekend.
Playing first line, too. I don't know if you noticed that. They've shaken up the lines.
Yeah, well, Snapple.
I mean, yeah, exactly. Romano was playing last night. He started on the second line.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I said, I think it's a 1A, 1B situation.
I think we're kind of
But
back
I think
to
he
that.
also might be nursing something a little bit.
Well, he was injured for a game, and then he came back very quickly, and he's been on the second line. So,
so
that
maybe
would
they're
indicate,
limiting his minutes.
That would indicate limited minutes. So, but Elinas, game-winning goal against Owen Sound, obviously Teddy for the Teddy Bear toss, 3 goals, 2 assists in 3 games, and I mean, really, that was in 2 games because he didn't get a point in the second game, the Guelph game.
That's true.
So he was just a monster all weekend. He was not a factor in the Guelph
he was
game.
all over the place in Guelph.
He just didn't get a point. Yeah. Okay, who's your second star? Now we differ.
Speaking of good names, Justin.
Yeah.
Bodno.
That's a great name. JB.
Andrew Vermeulen is my second star.
Shit.
Yes, he had 6 points.
You really fooked me out there. What is that?
What happened?
I don't know.
You fooked me.
Yeah,
I didn't fook anyone. All right? You're a fucking liar. Call Sandy Fitzpatrick in here.
Sandy, get out of here.
Yeah, Andrew Vermeulen is my second star.
Yeah.
With 6 points in the 3 games. He had a 3-point game, a 1-point game, and a 2-point game. He had it all going on. He had, of course, the empty netter last night.
Yeah.
But he is just that quintessential guy who can bounce up and down between that second and third line and just is all over the place and drives play and is physical and just deserves to have a weekend like that where he logs 6 points. Yeah. And what a great acquisition.
Absolutely.
From Mike McKenzie.
Yep.
Props to him.
Yep.
What's your second star?
I mean, it's for the pass from the ass, Cameron Reid. I mean,
of course.
That's going to be one of the best passes of the year.
Absolutely.
So, he's got to be on the star list for me.
Apple of the year, for sure.
What's your third star?
Our boy going to the World Juniors to play for Slovakia.
Yeah,
G.R.O.A.T.s.
Yeah,
absolutely. Had a monstrous weekend. He had 2 assists in last night's game where there were 3 goals scored against. He was still +4. Yeah. He's just a big, powerful, skating defenseman who has good hands for a defensive defenseman. Is a guy that I don't see making positional mistakes, not making turnovers, making easy passes look easy, and he's just been another great acquisition from Mike McKenzie. So maybe Mike McKenzie should have been my first star. Who's your third star?
I mean, now that I learned some new information about that it was Noah Roberts in the box, it was the kid who was serving his penalty. Yeah. That's who my third star was.
Sure.
So if that's still true, he's still my third star.
Because
that's
that was
so
just too funny.
Yeah. I can't not get over that.
It was one of the best moments I've seen in hockey, just for him to be in the box that long. Yeah.
On to a new segment.
News
around the league. Boop, boop, boop.
Boop, boop, boop. Boop, boop, boop. Boop, boop, boop. Oh, no. Demonetized.
Shut it down. You just mentioned it. G.R.O.A.T. going to the World Juniors, leaving the team on Monday.
Yes.
Which is sad, but going to the World Juniors.
Yeah,
that's amazing.
So exciting.
Yeah.
Some things are bigger than playing in the OHL.
Oh, absolutely.
And representing your country at the World Junior Hockey Championships is absolutely bigger.
Yeah, huge honor to him.
So cool.
And deserved.
I'll be rooting for Slovakia. Not against Canada.
No.
I'll be rooting for Slovakia outside of that.
Same. Little Chromiak love.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's pretty exciting. I wonder what that's going to do for our lines, right? Like,
it'll be interesting. Some of the younger defensemen are going to have to step up.
Yeah.
Bilecki he scored another goal this weekend.
He's been really good.
He's been playing really well. I expect him to play some more.
I think, it seems like Reid and Campbell work really well together.
Unbelievable.
So
I mean,
I can't imagine that's getting broken up.
Yeah, Reid and Campbell, that's like your thunder and lightning.
But
you
know what it could mean? It could mean our friend G.R.O.A.T. could be a top line, top pairing.
He's moving
guy.
up. He's moving up for sure.
Yeah, I think some of the young guys, Bilecki will play with a young guy who comes up to play. I mean, Bilecki could also. Yeah, he is.
Yeah.
Bilecki could also play with Ando because they've been limiting Ando's minutes a little bit. It seems like
because
he was playing like 27 minutes a night.
He was playing like half the game.
Yeah.
So especially when they were on that streak, he was playing so much hockey, and you're gonna need him in the playoffs.
And he's such a good leader. So him playing with a rookie, even if it's Bilecki, like that might be perfect for them.
Ando will play anywhere. He'll do anything for this franchise, for this community. That's pretty obvious. The way Sean Fafaro talked about him in his 200th game, I mean, we already knew it. He is awesome. Insider info: Ando may or may not support the pod. We don't know.
On the down low.
On the down low, we're not saying anything. Yeah. But
don't add us.
Yeah, don't add us. But maybe some likes are thrown. A follow's definitely there. But he's a leader in the community. Let's just say
for
that.
sure. Yeah. Another new segment.
New segments.
So when we started the podcast, we are big NHL fans.
Huge.
We watch lots of NHL. We play a lot of fantasy hockey.
In fact, we were OHL noobs.
Yeah,
we are OHL noobs.
We are still definitely OHL noobs. Less Rangers noobs, but OHL noobs for
big
sure.
Time. CHL noobs.
So we what's your NHL moment of the week?
My NHL Moment of the Week hastens back to an impromptu segment we did where we talked about the NHL Moment of the Week that we didn't keep up earlier on was Patrik Laine getting injured.
Yeah.
And it being, we talked about it a little bit and how it was a knee on knee, and Diracolo had a knee on knee. Diracolo had a knee on knee as well. And so basically it's the return of Patrik Laine. Now, don't get me wrong. I do not like the Montreal Canadiens.
Sure.
I do not like them. No, I do do not.
Yep.
However, I'm rooting for Patrick Laine.
Yep.
He's had some mental health issues. He's had some bad injury luck. He has kind of not lived up to the hype a little bit. Not necessarily, I'm not blaming him, I'm just saying. And I've always been rooting for him as a goal scorer.
Yeah.
And I liked him in Winnipeg, and I want the guy to succeed. So to have him come back with the Habs and score a goal right away was awesome.
15 minutes into his first game back.
Snipe.
He's still on a goal streak, which is hilarious.
He's still on a goal streak, yeah.
So, yeah, it was great. Nice to see Laine back. My moment of the week is a little bit more somber. As you all know, I'm a Flames fan. And last night, on Tuesday night, the Johnny Gaudreau tribute at the Saddle Dome, I mean, it was very emotional. The game was emotional. The beginning, they did a great tribute. They played his Go Johnny Go song, but they played an acoustic version. George Canyon sang that out at center ice, and they played a tribute video. I mean, the Sean Monahan hug at the end of the Dallas Stars series when Johnny scored the OT series winner. I mean, Sean Monahan was a wreck. I was watching Sean Monahan. I'm like, I bet I look the same, but I don't feel the same as Sean Monahan. He was wrecked. I mean, his family, they were obviously glad to be there, but also it's just so sad. Like, I don't know how you get over that. So,
yeah, I mean, listen, it's getting into holiday season.
Yeah.
Please don't drink and drive.
Yeah. Don't drink and drive.
There's really nothing else to say.
Don't rush on the roads. It's not worth it.
It's not worth it. And it's also just, we shouldn't be having things like this.
Don't have to. Yeah.
We shouldn't be having tributes like this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, I like the numbers. So there was some interesting numbers that came. So obviously Johnny Gaudreau wore 13. Last night was the 13th home game for the Flames. They won last night. It was their 13th win of the season. This is our 13th episode of the Odd Pod.
There you go.
And I'm out of 13s now. But
that was a lot of 13s.
It was a lot of 13s. Yeah. And anyways, it was a good moment last night. And I'm glad the Flames did what they did.
Yeah.
I mean, he was a huge part of the franchise.
He was the Flames in that era
for sure. Yeah. So
I mean, he was not a player that you hated. Even as an Oilers fan.
Yeah.
I will give props to the Flames that they managed to pick guys generally that lead their franchise that are not dislikable people. Jarome Iginla, Johnny Gaudreau.
Yep. Good guys out there.
Yeah.
Okay, so back to some regular scheduled programming. We got some game previews. We only play twice before our next recording. So we play Friday night. We play against the Sioux Greyhounds. We're at home. Friday night at the Odd. Always.
Tonight at the Odd, actually, if you're listening now, that it comes out, because you love the pod.
So when you make a podcast, you got to kind of think about what you want the podcast to be. And I had a little brainwave this week of what I wanted the podcast to be. And what I would really love it to be is people put the Odd Pod on their way to the Friday night at the Odd game.
Oh, that would be great.
And it's great because like we ramble on about nothing for our first few minutes so that you're putting it in Google Maps or Waze to make sure that you're not hitting traffic.
Oh yeah.
You know, you're telling the kids to sit down in the back. That's all the garbage that we talk about at the beginning.
So let me get this straight.
Then you get to the game recap.
Let me get this straight, Justin.
Yeah.
For our podcast that we pour our heart and soul into.
Yeah.
You want our audience to listen for 1 hour before the game on a Friday, the same day we release, and you don't want anything else.
Yeah. Is that a problem?
The saboteur is within. The call is coming from inside the house.
I could have a dream. Let me dream, Andrew. Let me dream. Okay, fine, whatever. So Friday, when you're on your way to the Odd, right now when you're listening.
I hope you're listening, but I hope if you miss the Friday episode drop, you listen on Saturday and Sunday and Monday. I just want
3 weeks later is also great. Whatever.
I want the Odd Potters to be just obsessed. I want them to wake up in the morning, and I want it to be the alarm. I want the alarm to be, hey Andrew, hey Justin. I just want them to be fully enthralled. Everything they do is our voices in their heads, always, at all times. That's right. I'm the other side of it, and hopefully somewhere it just lands in the middle.
Okay, so we played the Sioux. We played the Sioux. Both of these games. So we play the Sioux Friday, and on Saturday we play Windsor. So it's like, what do we have to say?
Bulletin board material. That's it, man. This is they beat us when we were sick. They beat us in a tightly contested game at home. Now it's time to walk into Windsor and handle the business.
Yeah, we're going to be away. We're going to be in their house.
Yes.
We'll show them what's up.
Star Wars night, too.
Oh, is it Star Wars night?
Yeah.
Oh, cool. Oh, Ando.
Yeah, the Andalorian Star Wars night.
You do not beat the Andalorian
on Star Wars night.
No. So not much to say about that. You know, we're 1-1 with the Sioux. We're 0-2 against Windsor.
Mm-hmm.
We face them a few more times each. So
that's true.
That's the way it is. All right. So we have reached the greatest Ranger of all time.
The
G.R.O.A.T. The G.R.O.A.T.
He can't say it. The throat.
Last week we recapped what we're doing here, but we're nominating the plethora of great Rangers that have played for the Kitchener Rangers over the years, and we're just naming some good ones. Eventually there's going to be a bracket challenge.
There will be eliminations.
Yes.
There will be victors. There will be your involvement in choosing the ultimate
G.R.O.A.T. I think I go first this week.
Do you?
Yep.
Let's do it.
So I'm going to do it anyways.
Yeah, you may. I permit you.
Oh,
that's how I
thank you.
Take my space here.
Thank you, my lord. So this shout out to Phil, avid listener from the beginning, gave us some lovely, helpful suggestions and notes in our first few podcasts.
Awesome.
So thank you, Phil.
Thanks, Phil.
Phil was deep diving G.R.O.A.T.s yesterday. And he sent me...
It doesn't sound like something you should be doing.
No.
I'm glad Phil is, and it is something you should be doing.
Thank you, Phil.
But deep diving G.R.O.A.T.s sounds problematic.
So Phil sent me this one, and I'm going to be honest. I would not have found this guy.
Great. That's exactly what we want.
Yes. Okay, so we got a Peterborough kid, but never a Pete. And his name also is not Pete.
That's great clarification. Thank you.
But there's one very interesting fact about this G.R.O.A.T.
Okay. Lay it on me.
He holds the record for the most points in a Memorial Cup series with 16.
Wow. That's an insane amount of points considering, what is it, 5 games?
Yeah, it's not that many games. So technically, he's tied for first, but he did it first. So okay. F1 rules, he gets it.
He's the champ.
Yeah. So
you got to beat the champ to be the champ.
100%. So he did that in 1982.
Oh.
What else happened in 1982?
They won.
They won the Memorial Cup
with a slew of legends.
So many other G.R.O.A.T.s like Al McInnes, Scott Stevens, Brian Bellows. He won 2 OHL championships with Kitchener in 81 and 82. For the Rangers, he played 3 seasons, 178 games, 249 points, including 108-point season.
Nice.
So this guy, again, flew under the radar. He played for the OMJHL, the OHL, the IHL, the AHL, the NHL, and West Germany 3.
West Germany.
Yeah.
All right.
I mean...
Sure.
Yep.
Yeah. Them's was the times, I guess.
After playing hockey, he retired, and he went and became a public school teacher in G.R.O.A.T. and only retired in 2022.
Oh, nice.
I mean, I'm like, who is this G.R.O.A.T.? He's a powerhouse, has a crazy record.
Mm-hmm.
I would say basically an unbeatable record in Memorial Cup points.
Yes, well, somebody tied it, but they couldn't beat it.
They couldn't beat it. And he is Jeff Larmer.
Jeff Larmer, yes. Yeah. Yes, he was. He didn't. That's a good name because he was on the short list.
Yeah.
And then I actually trimmed the short list, and it's cool that somebody actually brought him back into the fray.
Brought him in. Yeah. So thank you, Phil. That was a great G.R.O.A.T.
A great G.R.O.A.T.
All right, Andrew. It's your G.R.O.A.T. time.
Oh, well, you know what's really cool about this G.R.O.A.T. is coming in from Chris. And what's interesting about Chris, and you're going to know right away who it is that Chris was a billet family.
Oh, sweet.
So this G.R.O.A.T., believe it or not, this is just a fun little tidbit about his life. He is married to Doug Gilmour's daughter.
Cool.
Yeah. So that's his father-in-law, Killer Gilmour.
Yeah, great.
Terrifying.
Yeah, awful.
I'm so grateful that I have a wonderful father-in-law. I'm sure Doug is too, but he's scary.
Yeah.
This man was known as an offensive center with a good eye for the game. He was a very good skater. He had a good attitude, defensive game, and stick handling, and he also shot well. However, he was primarily a playmaker. He was born in Oakville, Ontario. He was a natural center, drafted in the first round, 12th overall of the OHL priority selection in 2002. In his first year as a 16-year-old, he scored 16 goals, 47 points, and he was named to the OHL second all-rookie team. This was 2002-2003. The Rangers won both the OHL championship and the Memorial Cup. As a rookie, he scored 6 goals and had 8 points in 21 playoff games that season. In his second year with the Rangers, he kept up this pace, scored 15 goals, 36 assists, 68 games, and was drafted in the 4th round by the Detroit Red Wings, 128th overall. However, in his third year, he started to break out, took a step. He scored 28 goals but had 59 assists in 68 games. The Rangers went to the 3rd round where he scored 7 goals and had 13 points in 15 games. And then finally in his overager season, boy, he had the 6th best season of all time for the Rangers. Whoa. Despite being a playmaker, he scored 37 goals and added 77 assists that year. He also had a phenomenal 25 power play goals despite not having a shoot-first mentality. He would go on to play 5 AHL seasons before joining Vasteras IK for a season, and then eventually ended up with Oskarshamn IK of the Swedish Division I League, where he would become a star player and fan favorite over there. He eventually played pro in the Swedish Elite League, the Swiss League, an Austrian league, a German league, and even the British Elite League over the course of 11 seasons, and finished his career playing in the Allen Cup senior men's hockey for 2 seasons, like any good Canadian boy should. From Oakville, Ontario, Evan McGrath.
Evan McGrath. Nice. Welcome to the party. Well, we've G.R.O.A.T.ed.
We G.R.O.A.T.ed hard.
This week, we double fan G.R.O.A.T.ed, which is pretty great.
Exciting.
Please keep sending them in.
Keep them coming.
We love hearing from you because we love hearing why you want these G.R.O.A.T.s. So
that's exactly
it. That's pretty awesome. Thank yous, yes. Ken Bourne, colloquially known as Dad. Thanks, Dad.
Professionally known as Dad. Head of merchandising and branding.
I think we gave him a promotion to director.
That's
last
true.
Week.
Director of merchandising and branding.
Yeah. So, thanks, Dad. Ken, Dad. Of course, our prodigal producer, Liam.
The Phenom, as always.
This week we're at the Waterloo Public Library, so thank you to them for hosting
East
us.
Branch in the Digispace.
I'm
loving it.
Yeah, it's great. Socials.
You can find us on Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter at The Odd Podcast. If you want to send us interesting facts or history about the Kitchener Rangers, The Odd, or Kitchener, Cambridge, Waterloo, because we'd love to know more about the place that we live.
We live there.
I'm not going to tell you where we live, but we live here.
Don't dox us.
Yeah, please don't. Please email us, though, at theoddpodcast@gmail.com. We'd love to hear from you.
And as always, we'd love it if you subscribed, followed, liked, rated.
It would be great. It's not required. We would love it, though. It would be a holiday miracle.
Yes. Please, sir.
If we could grow the pod.
Please, sir, can I have some more followers?
Please, sir. Yeah, the internet will have you feeling like a 16th century orphan, just asking for more.
Yeah, I never thought I'd be here.
Do we deserve it? I don't know. That's up to you.
Yeah, so just tell us by following us. So as always, you can find us at
the Kitchener Memorial Auditorium.
See you at the Odd.